All right, so what we're going to be talking about here is how to install pin stands in your car. And a pin stand is basically what the word means. It's a pin on a stand. It's going to give you a really nice stable platform to work on your car. You can be able to move around and have different people working on it and not worry about it falling off ever, even if you're on some slightly oddball ground, as we often are with rally cars. So when you're looking at doing this, what you need to do is first install this piece of tubing into your rocker panel on your car. So Pascal here has measured where he wants it, about halfway up on the rocker panel. He's drilling a pilot hole, which he's then going to chase up with just a basic hole saw, which is the same diameter about as the piece of tubing that he's going to be installing into the rocker panel of this car. Now you want to know exactly what's behind your rocker panel. You may have several layers of metal. You can see he just made it through a second one, and now he's got kind of a special tool that we've made here, which is essentially 3 hole saws welded together, so that we can get in there and get the depth that we need through the different layers of the unibody of the car, so that when we do insert the tube, we've got the depth that we need and we've got the structure that we want. In this case, it essentially goes basically right through the vehicle, and you can see it poke out on the inside. So all he's doing right here is just cleaning up a little bit. We're going to be welding a plate on after we've inserted the tube that just adds a little more structure to the outside, because your rocker panel, that skin of metal right there, is actually pretty thin. So all he's doing is, again, cleaning up the inside where that hole saw went through, test fitting and making sure this piece of tube is in there nice and level, and just tacking it in place. Make sure that's level with the vehicle, not necessarily level with the ground, depending on what you've got going on. You want to make sure it's level with the car. Weld both sides of it. You can see he welded the inside of the vehicle right there. Now he's back around on the outside welding this tube to the rocker panel of the car. And then what we're going to be dealing with once that's welded up is to just clean it up a little bit, because you need to fit this plate over it. And this is just a protection plate that's there just to give everything a little bit of extra structure. And once that's in place and you're pretty happy with it, you can go ahead and tack that on and get ready, because what you're going to need to do is then fit that around to the shape of the rocker panel. So maybe that hole in the middle where the tube passes through might have to be a bit oblong. It can't be perfectly circular, because you are going to have to bend that around, and that's going to have to match the original rocker panel shape. Unless you wanted to make a box there or something else, you can really do whatever you want with those things. But what we tend to do is go ahead and hammer those down, get them to match the original shape of the rocker panel, and then all we're going to do is weld all the way around that piece of square that we've just added, and around the tube itself to that thicker walled piece of sheet metal that we've attached to the rocker panel. So that's going to give us a really nice strong platform for this pin stand. Once you're happy with that, cut the piece of tubing off to whatever length you really want. You don't want a whole lot poking out right there, you just don't need it. And grind the edge of that off flush, and you're going. Go ahead and paint that and call it good. As far as the actual stand itself, you can go with a pretty simple setup. About as high as the jack you're going to be using is going to go. You can go 2 legs or 3. You can have a little space to maybe keep some bolts and nuts or something like that. But something pretty simple, and you should be good to go.